Hey guys, how's it going? I want to take a minute to show you an exercise that I use on all my horses every day. I'm going to show you today on this 3-year-old filly. This is a brand new horse to my program. She's a modern gun out of a Spook Scout a Whiz. Congratulations to Justine Chase on getting her. Just only had her here, I don't know, maybe a week. So I've had just a handful of rides on her. And just to give you a little bit of history, when I went to try her out, I mainly was just wanting to feel her, her maneuvers, her ability, to see if she's something that I thought would be competitive for us down the road, which I think she is. With that being said, doesn't matter what program they come from, doesn't matter if it's me starting with a 2-year-old, I take them through the same paces. And so what I'm getting at is the most important thing, I think, is that horse mentally, that they want to be with you. It's like a kid in school that, you could have the greatest teacher on the planet there, but if the kid's looking out the window thinking about recess, they're not going to absorb everything that you're teaching them. Sometimes they absorb none of it. So I'm going to start off here just at the walk. And the hardest part about this exercise is to keep it real simple, because most of the time we all want to be doing stuff and pulling on them and carrying on, and not saying that I'm not going to do that eventually, but I want to go in order, and I want to first have her where she's comfortable with what I'm showing her. And so what I'll do here is I'll just take a little, let's call it a 30-foot diameter imaginary circle in my mind. And when she walks out of it, I'm just going to simply steer her back and then release. Very, very simple. And what I'm looking for when I release is for her to try to hunt that circle on her own. And what you're seeing her do is she's kind of perking her ears up and she's getting interested about going over to another place. And I'm going to let her do that. I'm going to let her make that mistake. And then when she crosses my imaginary circle, I just simply put pressure on her by using neck rein, a little bit of leg if I need to. And when she gets over there, I release. Those of you that have been to my clinics, you've seen me do this. Every single clinic, we start off the same way, and we do it at the Lope. And I kind of call it like my alignment check also. If you're driving your car down the road and you let go of the steering wheel, does the car go straight or does it go left or right? And kind of using that same principle here with the horse. I'm turning her completely loose. She's got the freedom to go where she wants, and when she does, I just simply put a little pressure on her. And when she moves where I want, I release. And what I find, this creates that connection that you hear people talk about, where that horse is really looking to find that place of release, of pressure. And that's the hardest thing about this is, like when she does that, when she raises her head, don't make a big deal out of it. Just do it again. And my goal here, again, my goal is to have her walk a 30-foot diameter circle, and she's being much better today. The first day I did this, when I turned her loose, she was power walking all over the place. Now that move right there, she did all on her own. All on her own right there. She thought about going off to the right, and then she didn't. She fixed herself, so I just sat there. Now you're seeing her really drop her head and get relaxed, and I think that's because, why? Because she knows where she's supposed to be. There, she got a little distracted. A dog came up from the gate over there. No big deal. I'll just steer her back. Steer her back. This is obviously a reining horse, but this will work on any horse. And then once you have that at the walk, now say I want to go pick up and try to bridle her up a little bit. What I've found is I've got my horse's mind on me, so now any question I ask that horse, I feel like, I'm getting all their attention and I'm able to address what it is I want to work on completely. And what you'll find sometimes, say you go out of order and you start working on their face and they're distracted, and then you get into this tug-of-war where you're pulling on them and carrying on, and you think the horse is just stiff in the face, where really, mentally that horse just wanted to go to another place, back to the barn or out of the arena or whatnot, or to, if there's other horses in the arena, they might want to go there. So a lot of times if you get this first, get their mind first, then when you go to pick up and ask them something like Get Soft in the Face, you'll find out that they actually, she actually is. She's very soft in the face. She just needed to be focused on me. Now we'll kick it up to the trot. You guys heard me talk about clinics too. Just so you know, we've had some great clinics right here at my ranch. We only have usually 6 to 8 riders. We've got one coming up in February. I'll put a link on this post where you can see where you can get in and join. The last one was down the road in Aledo at Circle P Ranch, Mike and Jennifer Patterson's place, and it was so much fun. We had 4 days in a row. We had snow, and then one night we had Italian food catered in, and a friend of mine, Isaac Hoskins, brought his guitar and a friend, and he came and played a set for us. We had a great time. Got a lot done in the arena, but then we had some fun also. And I'm still working the same drill here. And the circle doesn't have to be exactly 30 feet, but I've got an idea of the area of the arena I want to be in. And I'm just keeping this real simple for this horse. In the beginning, you'll be amazed at how lost they'll get. And you just got to stick with it. Very, very simple. And through repetition, I'll refine these cues where I barely move my hand and she moves right over. But I love how she's responding now. Now she's getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And if I want a bigger circle, then I just got to make my no-fly zone. I move it out further. But right here, I've got no pressure with my legs, no pressure with my hands. My hands in neutral. And this is Millie, by the way. Millie's trotting around just right, which is exactly what I want. And this is what I do when I warm my horses up. This is what I do when I get a brand new horse. I really focus on this a lot. And once I feel like the horse has a good grasp of it, then I'll move on to some other things. If I want to, work on her face, if I want to move her body around, or whatever it is I'm working on that day. And then there's some days, that's an animal. Some days they don't quite get it. I might stick with this because I really feel this is the foundation of everything I want to teach this horse. It's first I have to have a willing student. Oh, that actually was pretty darn good. Now I'm going to go ahead and work at the lope, and I'll show you guys. I'll switch directions. I'll go lope to the right, and we'll spend a few minutes and show you this. All of this stuff here, if you like it and you're like, well, I want to see more, if you go to mattmillsreining.com, we've got the subscription video page for a small fee. There's hundreds of videos on there that have drills and exercises on how to not only train your horse, but how to improve that horse that, say it's a trained horse that you bought, you got home and you don't know what to do with it. Well, I've got lots of videos that will show you exactly what you need to do. Lope her off on the right lead. My perfect circle in my mind's about, 10 feet away from the side fences and through the middle. So what I want to do is kind of get my horse loped off, kind of establish my line, so I'll help him a little bit. And then once I feel like I've got my line kind of set, then I go ahead and drop that hand back down to neutral, the same as we did at the trot, and let her do the work. So right there, she's closer to the fence than what I wanted, so I just simply apply pressure, and you see her break to the trot, which I don't mind. But I want to keep that same speed. So you've got two jobs. One's to keep your horse's speed the same, kind of just like if you had cruise control set, because you need forward motion to get this exercise done. And then your other job is just to sit still and wait until that horse leans out of the circle. So there she's heading over towards Rigo. I'm just going to simply put pressure on her, point her back towards the middle of the circle, and then now she needs to go find it on her own. Made that turn on her own. I'm not trying to help her by leaning. I'm sitting real square in the saddle. There, she was a little closer than what I planned, so I'm going to go ahead and steer. You guys can really watch your horse's ears too. Oftentimes, those ears will tell you where their mind's at. She pricked both ears straight forward, and right after that, she leaned to the place that she was looking at. So it just gives you a little insight on what's coming. And of course, we turn the camera on, and she's being great. The last few days, she was really struggling with this freedom. She didn't know what to do with it. So pretty predictable. She's leaning out at the gate right there. No big deal. That move right there, you saw her make a hard right. That was all on her own. This time she didn't lean towards the gate. That's a positive change. The hardest part of this right here is to sit still and do nothing. I want this horse to feel like it kind of has I call it like an open door policy, where doors always open for that horse to leave. If they do it, no big deal. I'm just going to make things a little bit harder for them. This mare, all that means is putting a little neck rein on her. She feels that pressure when she moves away. I leave her alone. If I felt like I wasn't getting through to her, I wouldn't change anything. I'd just apply more pressure. And what you'll find, as your horse starts to understand this, the head goes down. And then be ready. You're going to get a bunch of people telling you that it's unnatural and it's forced. How forced does this look? And I think the horses drop their head because they understand where they're supposed to be, and they don't need to worry, hey, is this guy going to put pressure on me for this, that, or the other? She's found a little rhythm here where if she stays on this circle, I leave her alone. And then that's the key. When they get there, that's what you've got to do. So like I was saying, I'll do this every day. Some horses it takes a few minutes. Some it takes months and months and months. But once I feel like my horse is connected, hooked on, whatever you want to call it, at that point, if I want to work on their, softness, I can pick up and do it. And notice this time when I picked up, she didn't raise her head at all. When I first got on her at the walk, maybe it was at the trot, when I picked my hands up, she raised her head up. I kind of startled her. I don't even have that problem right now. It's completely gone. And you guys saw I didn't get there by seesawing on her face all day. I got there by first going after her mind, get her to where she's focused on me, and then pick up and feel she's actually very naturally soft. And then at any point, as I'm working on this kind of stuff, or if I'm moving her off of my legs, when I release, if I feel like she wants to go leaning out again, leaving the scene, I fall all the way back to that first step of let them lean out of the circle and then steer them back. Really nice there. Then I'm going to let her stop here in the middle just to reinforce that this is where I want her to be. When she's over there, I'm going to leave her alone. It's an easier path. If she leans out, I'm going to steer her back. So also when you get out there, don't be surprised. Like I said, the first few days you do this, if your horse isn't accustomed to being turned loose like this and, having the option to be able to go do whatever they want, they're probably going to do that. And they might make 1,000 errors where they leave and you got to steer them back. Just stick with it, and you'll start to find it's the greatest feeling when that horse goes on its own, kind of figures out that path, and they just start pulling, and almost like they're on rails. So I just want to take a little time to show you guys this exercise that I use all the time. It's a really important one. I think it works on any discipline. Getting a horse's mind right is exactly where we want to be. So check that out, and please go check out mattmillsreining.com. Think about joining our subscription program, and also, if you want, come on out to the ranch and, we'll spend a couple days and we'll work together and see if we can't get you better.